How are you? I hope you are well by the grace of Allah. So first of all, I would like to welcome all of you to my English class. So my dear students, I would like to start the class with a video. So listen and watch the video with great attention.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is David. What is yours?
I'm Sarah. Pleased to meet you, David.
Nice to meet you too. Sarah, where are you from?
I'm from Austin.
That is awesome. I really like Austin. I'm from Los Angeles.
Have you met my friend Alex over there? He is also from Los Angeles.
Yes, I have. We talked briefly earlier.
I have to get going now. It was a pleasure meeting you, David.
Of course. See you later.
Okay, my dear students, now what can you see here? So we can see a passage narration in indirect speech. Now what can you see? Now we can see a passage narration in indirect speech. The first one is in direct speech and second one is in indirect speech. So can you guess what we are going to discuss? What you mean by the video and the text? So very good answers. That we are going to discuss passage narration. So our topic is passage narration or speech of narrative style. So after completing these lessons, we are going to learn some points. The points are: you will be able to define the style of narration or speech. You will be able to identify special criteria of passage narration. And third one is you will be able to change passage narration from direct to indirect. So first of all, just have a look. So you have to know there are two types of styles of speech or narration. So what are they? Can you guess? Okay, let's see. The first one is detached style of speech, and second one is narrative style of speech. So we can tell you, or I can tell you, there are two types of style of speech or narration. First one is detached style of speech, and second one is a narrative style of speech. Let's just have a look. The sentence given on screen. The first sentence is said, "Mother is the best blessing of Allah." So is it the sentence example of detached style of speech or narrative style of speech? Can you guess? Right. So this is the example of detached style of speech, because when a speech is described with one reporting part and a single reported speech, then we call it a detached style of speech. Just have a look at the second sentence. The sentence is, the passage is, Rashid said to Humayun, "How are you? I went to your hostel yesterday but didn't find you. Where did you go?" "I went to the station," said Humayun. "I said to receive my maternal uncle there." So in this passage, we can see two reporting verbs and more than one reported speech. So we can tell you, or I can tell you, when a speech is described with more than one reporting part or more than one reported speech, then it is called a narrative style of speech. So today we are going to learn about passage narration. So if you want to change or convert a passage from direct to indirect, you have to know some rules. So what are the rules? Let me discuss first. Just have a look. I have written an example of direct speech. So in direct speech, you can find the portion of reporting part or the reporting speech at the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence, or you may get it or find it at the middle of the sentence. But you have to remember, when you will change the sentence into indirect narration, you have to write the portion of the reporting part or the reporting speech at the beginning of the sentence. That's for sure. Just have a look on the screen. That is exactly you have to do whenever you will change the such kind of sentence into indirect narration. Next thing, so there are some special words which are normally used in passage narration. Now notice how the words are changed while converting a passage narration from direct to indirect. First one is sir. When you will find a sir, the word sir in direct speech, in indirect narration, you have to write with respect for the word sir. Let's have an example. The student said to the teachers, "Sir, can I ask a question?" Look at the word sir is there in the reported speech. So what can you do in indirect narration? The student asked the teacher with respect if he could ask a question. Just have a look. The sir has become with respect in indirect narration. So sir, with respect for sir. Next one. So if you find yes in direct speech, in indirect narration, you have to write replied in the affirmative form. Let's have an example. The teacher said, yes, you can. In indirect speech, you have to write the teacher replied in the affirmative that he could. So just have a look. Yes has become replied in the affirmative in indirect narration. So it means that yes in direct narration becomes replied in the affirmative in indirect narration. Is it clear to you? Okay. That's nice. Now the third one, very important. These kinds of yes, no, these kinds of words are very much available in passage narration. So just if you find no in direct speech, in indirect speech you have to write replied in the negative for no. Have a look. The man said to his friend, "Do you like ice cream?" "No, I don't like ice cream," replied his friend. So just have a look. The word no is there. So how can we change no in indirect narration? The answer is his friend replied in the negative that he didn't like ice cream. It means that no has become replied in the negative. So that is the rule. When there is yes in indirect narration, you have to write replied in the affirmative. In indirect narration, when there is the word no in direct speech, in indirect speech, you have to write replied in the negative in indirect narration. Okay, now the next one. If there is a word like thanks or thank you in direct speech, you have to change it indirect in this way. So what is the way? The way is, first of all, you have to write the speaker, then you have to write thanked. It will take the tense of the reporting part, then object, and then rest of the sentence. Let's have an example. The man said to him, "Thanks, it's not good to eat ice cream." The man thanked him and said that it was not good to eat ice cream. So just look, the thanks in direct speech has become thanked in indirect speech. Similar is the case with welcome and congratulation. For example, if I say, he said to me congratulations, you have to say, or you should say, he's congratulated to me in indirect narration. If the word is welcome, welcome. For example, he said welcome. So in indirect narration, I should say he welcomed me. So similar with the case, just thanks. These three words follow the same rules: thanks, welcome, and congratulations. Okay, next one. So if there is any wishing words, for example, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or any other wishing words, for example, Eid Mubarak, happy birthday, happy friendship day, happy new year, happy Valentine's Day, like this. Any kinds of wishing words that you find in direct narration, you have to change it in direct narration in this way. So what is the way? The way is, first you have to write speaker, then you have to write wished as reporting verb, then you have to write object, then you have to write the wishing words. Mind it, you should not use any conjunction between the reporting verb and the reported speech, that is called wishing words. Let's have an example. He said to me, good morning, are you well? He wished me good morning and asked if I was well. Look at, so good morning is a wishing word. In the reported speech we can see in the direct narration. So in indirect narration we have written the speaker first, that means he, then I have written wished as a reporting verb and object, then I have written the wishing word directly without any conjunction. Then rest part of the sentence as it is, as it should be. Next one, if there is a word like goodbye, good night, in direct speech, in indirect speech you have to change it, or you have to change it indirect in this way. So what is the way? The first one, first of all, you have to write the speaker first, then you have to write beat, which is the past form of beat, then you have to write object, and then similarly, you have to write the goodbye or good night. Mind it, you should not use any conjunction between object and goodbye, good night. Let's have an example. He said to me, goodbye, I will phone you later. He bade me goodbye and said that he would phone me later. So the next thing that you should remember, whenever you will change the passage narration from direct to indirect, sometimes you may get such kind of phrase, by Allah, by God, or by life, or by my life. So in that case, how can we change such kind of phrase in indirect narration? In indirect narration, you have to start the sentence with swearing by Allah, God, or my life. Let's have an example. He said to me, by Allah, I will never tell a lie. So in indirect speech, you have to start the sentence with swearing by Allah. He told me that he would never tell a lie. Second thing that you should remember, when there is a word like okay, in direct speech, in indirect speech, you have to write the speaker first, then you have to write agreed as a reporting verb, then with, then object, and then that plus rest part of the sentence as it should be. Let's have an example. He said to me, okay, you have told the right. So he agreed with me that I had told the right. Is it clear to you? So okay has become agreed. Next one, if there is a word like hello, in direct speech, in indirect speech, you have to start the sentence with speaker first, then you have to write the verb greeted and then object. Let's have an example. He said to me, hello, how are you? So for hello, you have to start the sentence like this. He greeted me and asked how I was. Another thing you should remember, sometimes you may find some words in direct speech, for example, replied, muttered, uttered, cried, in reporting part remains unchanged in the indirect speech. For example, he uttered silently, I don't know it at all. He uttered silently that he did not know it at all. Just have a look. In direct speech, the reporting verb has been used, uttered. In the indirect speech, we should not change the verb. Then I also repeat the word uttered. He uttered silently, no change, basically. That he did not know it at all. Another very important rules, just have a look. The president said to the people, my friends, stay at home as coronavirus is turning to community transmission. Just have a look the words, my friends. How can we turn the word in grammatical sense? Can you tell me? Yes, 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 it's correct answer. Basically the word in terms of grammar, it is called case of address, or you can term it vocative case. So if there is an vocative case in the reported speech, so how can we change the sentence into indirect? So let's have a structure. First of all, you have to start the sentence with addressing, then you have to write object, plus S, plus vocative case, plus speaker, plus reporting verb, plus indirect form of the reported speech. Just have a look. The sentence I have changed according to the rule. The addressing the people, here people is the object, then S, then his friends is the vocative case, then speaker is the president, and the reporting verb is ours as it is imperative sentence, and then to the people to stay at home as coronavirus was turning to community transmission. Another example, look, just have a look very carefully. He said to me, you should follow your elders, Sabiha. So here we can also see the presence of vocative case, but this vocative case is different from that one, the previous one. So if there is any name as vocative case in indirect narration, you should not start your sentence with addressing. Rather, you should use the vocative case as the object of reporting verb. That means he told Sabiha that he should follow her elders. Okay, another rules. Just have a look. The child said to his friend, you can stretch very well. I'm feeling very comfortable, and go on. Just have a look at the sentence. So far the sentences we have seen in each sentence there was a single, in each direct narration there was a single sentence. Single sentence in each reported speech. But now, look at this sentence. In this one reported speech, we can see 3 sentences. So, in this case, how can we change such kind of sentences when you will find more than one sentence is one reported speech? How can we change such kind of narration into direct narration into indirect narration? Let's see. We can say the child told his friend that he could stretch very well, and added that he was feeling very comfortable. He also requested to go on. So what are the rules that I have applied here? Have a look. The rules are, so if you find more than one assertive sentence of the same speaker, you can use you can use for first sentence said to or told. For second sentence you can use added. For third sentence you can use further added. The fourth sentence you can use again added, or the last for the fifth sentence you can use moreover added. Or you can say, or you can use for first sentence said to or told, second sentence also or further said, third sentence again said, or fourth sentence you can use moreover said. Let's have an example. I will help you to solve this problem. I'm responsible for it, the boy said to me. So we can see here, in a single reported speech, we can see two sentences. So how can we change? For first sentence, I should use said to or told, or for second sentence, I should use added or also said. Have a look. The boy told me that he would solve the problem. He added that he was responsible for it. Or you can say, he also said that he was responsible for it. Next rule. If you find interrogative sentence more than one, so how can we change the sentences into indirect? Similar is the case for if there is more than one interrogative sentence there in a single reported speech. For first sentence you can use asked, for second sentence you can use also asked, for third sentence again asked, and the fourth sentence moreover asked. Let's have an example. I said to him, "Who are you? What do you want?" Look at the sentence, two interrogative sentences in a single reported speech. So so you can say, I asked him who he was and also asked what he wanted. Or you can say, I asked him who he was and what he wanted. But you have to remember, you can use these sentences in another sentences if needed. Okay, now you have to remember, if you find different categories of sentences, different types of sentences in a reported speech, then you have to be careful about the using of also, again, and moreover. The rules is, if you find different sentences, different types of sentences in a single reported speech, you have to write reporting verb first according to the sentence. Then you have to write also plus reporting verb according to the sentence. For third sentence, you have to write again plus reporting verb according to the sentence, and moreover plus reporting verb according to the sentence. It means that you have to use different reporting verb for different sentence, but for second sentence you have to use also. For third sentence you have to use again, and for fourth sentence you have to use moreover. Let's have an example. How are you? I have met you after a long time. Wow, you have become very slim. He said to me. So how many sentences can you see here? We can see however is a one-sentence interrogative sentence. Second sentence is assertive. I have met you after a long time. And third sentence is, wow, you have become very slim. It's an exclamatory sentence. So if you find any reported speech with different kinds of sentences, so you have to use different reporting verb, but for second sentence you have to use also, for third sentence you have to use again, and for fourth sentence you have to use moreover. Just have a look. It means that you should write change the passes into indirect like in this way. He asked me how I was. So asked has been used. For second sentence is assertive sentence. So you should say he also told me that he had met me after a long time. Third sentence is exclamatory, so you have to use reporting verb for that is suitable for exclamatory sentence. He again exclaimed with surprise that I had, he again exclaimed with surprise that I had become very slim. So So this is all. This is some rules that will help you to change a direct speech into indirect. Do you have any questions? Hopefully, it will help a lot to change passive narration into any passes from direct to indirect. So let's change our passes. We change the passes, direct passes into, from direct to indirect practically. Just have a look. The passage is, once I asked my friend, why do you steal? Don't you know that it is bad? I had nothing to do, answered my friend. I have been starving for want of food for 3 days. You should work hard instead of stealing, I suggested. So in this passage, we can see this dialogue is happening between I and my friend. Whenever you will get in passage narration, first of all, your first and foremost duty to read the whole passage and find out the speaker and listen. So in this passage, we can see I and the dialogue is happening between me and my friends. So let's start. So first of all, you have to write, once I asked my friend why he stole. He also asked if he didn't know that it was bad. The second one, I had nothing to do, answered my friend. So my friend answered that he had nothing to do. I was starving for want of food for 3 days. This statement is also said by my friend, so I should say, my friend also said that he had been starving for want of food for 3 days. Next sentence, you should work hard instead of stealing, I suggested. So suggested is used, so you should not use suggested. It will be same as it is. I suggested that he should work hard. He should work hard instead of stealing. So this is the end of the class. Hopefully it will help a lot to understand the rules to change passive narration into indirect speech. So homework for you. You have to practice the practice items of all the passive narrations of board questions 18. So I think if you follow the class carefully and do the practice, it will help a lot to understand passive narration. Thank you. Thanks a lot.